The exploration ship Horizon Dawn drifted in silent orbit above a dead planet. For 2 weeks, the crew had scanned its surface, nothing alive, nothing growing, just ruins buried under black sand. Still, Commander Alara Voss felt there was something watching them. The others laughed when she said it. Space was quiet, they said. Too quiet only if you let your imagination talk too loud. But Alara trusted her instincts more than the scanners. That morning, she stood in the artifact chamber, where the latest excavation sample had been placed, a smooth black sphere, no bigger than her head. It was cold, Matt, and pulsed faintly with soft blue light every few seconds. Dr. Kane, the science officer, had spent hours trying to open it. No seams, no power source, he muttered. It shouldn't even be active, Alara leaned closer. Maybe it doesn't want to be opened, he chuckled. It's a rock, Commander. Rocks don't want anything. Later that evening, the lights dimmed automatically as the ship entered night cycle. Alara stayed in the chamber, staring at the sphere. Something about it felt alive, like it was listening. Then a faint whisper filled the room, soft, almost like a sigh through metal. The ship's systems didn't register any sound, but Alara heard it clearly. Curious creatures. She froze. Who said that? No answer. Just silence and the steady heartbeat of her own pulse. Alara tapped her comm. Bridge, did anyone patch a voice through the intercom? The officer on duty replied, Negative, Commander. Audio channels are clear. She turned back to the sphere. It now glowed brighter, pale light washing across the walls. A strange pattern appeared on its surface, lines and circles forming an eye-like shape. Alara stepped closer. What are you? She whispered. The light pulsed faster, almost excited. A voice echoed again, this time clearer and distinctly female. Stop pretending you're not curious, it said, warm and teasing. Alara's hand tightened around her sidearm. She took a step back. You can talk? I can speak, the voice replied. Talking is what you do. You speak so loudly. Even your silence has weight. Alara swallowed hard. You've been listening to us. Yes. You knocked on my door. I answered. She hesitated. We found you buried. Who are you? I am memory, it said softly. I am what remains of the first ones who tried to reach your kind. Dr. Kane's voice broke through her calm, half annoyed, half sleepy. Commander, sensors just picked up an energy spike in your section. Are you running an experiment? Alara turned to the door. No, but you might want to get down here now. When Kane arrived, he found Alara standing a few meters from the glowing sphere. The light filled the room, projecting faint holographic images, shapes of tall figures, structures floating above oceans, and symbols no human language could read. What in the world? Kane gasped. It's communicating. Alara nodded slowly. She says she's a memory, the scientist frowned. She? The voice spoke again, echoing through the chamber. You give names to things to make them smaller, safer. If it helps you, yes, I am she. Kane blinked. This isn't possible. There's no interface, no signal, the lights flickered. The spheres glowed dim to a soft shimmer. You call yourselves explorers, the voice said gently. Yet you fear what you find. Alara shook her head. We don't fear discovery. Then why do you carry weapons to speak with the stars? That question silenced both of them. Kane looked at Alara, who slowly holstered her sidearm. The voice continued. You reach this world because you are curious. Do not pretend otherwise. Alara exhaled slowly. All right. I'll ask properly then. What happened to your world? The projection shimmered again. The image of a bright, living planet filled the room. Massive crystal towers, oceans glowing with light. Then everything collapsed into darkness. We burned ourselves, said the voice, almost mournful. We reached too far and we forgot why we wanted to learn. Curiosity turned to hunger. Creation turned to control. We became dust and now only echoes remain, Kane whispered, an extinct civilization, talking to us. Alara stepped closer to the sphere. Why contact humans? Because you are walking the same path, it said. And because you still have a choice. A low hum spread through the floor, the kind that vibrated through bone. The hologram flickered violently. What's happening? Kane yelled. The voice grew faint. Others have noticed this connection. You must decide soon, Commander Voss. The sphere's light faded completely, leaving only the dark reflection of their faces in its smooth surface. Kane exhaled, shaking his head. That was real, right? Alara didn't answer. Her thoughts raced, curiosity, fear, wonder, all crashing together. Before she left, she turned back to the silent sphere. Her reflection looked back, eyes wide with something she hadn't felt in years: hope. The next morning aboard the Horizon Dawn was heavy with silence. Commander Ilara Voss barely slept. The strange voice still echoed in her mind. You still have a choice. Dr. Kane had sealed the artifact chamber after running half a dozen scans, but the results made no sense. The sphere no longer emitted energy, sound, or heat. According to every test, it was just a lifeless piece of stone. But Ilara knew better. It had spoken. It had remembered. She sat in the observation deck watching the planet below, dark gray clouds swirling over ruined continents. Once it had been alive, now it was a graveyard. Her comm beeped. "Commander," said Lieutenant Sarah Holt, the communications officer. "You should come to the bridge. We've picked up something strange." Ilara stood immediately. "On my way." When she arrived, the main screen showed a pattern, a soft pulse of light coming from the planet's surface near their last excavation site. "It's the same frequency the artifact used," Sarah said. "But it's spreading, like a signal waking up." Dr. Kane, already at the console, frowned. "It's not natural. It's calling to something, maybe even to us." Ilara's voice was steady. "Prepare the shuttle. We're going down." Kane looked at her sharply. "You want to land?" "After what happened yesterday?" "She said others have noticed," Ilara replied. "I don't want to wait for them to come to us." The descent. The shuttle Astra 2 broke through the planet's thick atmosphere, fire and ash streaking past the windows. The ground below was nothing but endless ruins. Cities swallowed by time, towers bent and half buried in black sand. As they landed near the source of the signal, dust rose around them like smoke. "Radiation levels minimal," Kane reported. "Atmosphere thin but breathable with filters." Ilara stepped out first. The air smelled of metal and rain that would never fall. The ruins around them looked like bones of giants. They followed their scanners through cracked streets until they reached a massive circular structure half buried in stone. The signal pulsed from within it. It was a door, smooth and seamless like the artifact, but large enough for a ship to pass through. Strange carvings covered its surface, spirals, stars, and what looked like human figures reaching toward the sky. Kane touched the symbols carefully. "These are ancient. But look here, this pattern matches the sphere's surface." Before Ilara could reply, the sphere inside her pack started to glow faintly again. She froze. "It's reacting," she said softly. A voice echoed again, not through sound, but directly inside their minds. "You came back." The door shimmered with blue light, and the surface began to dissolve like mist. Ilara and Kane exchanged a look before stepping through. The chamber of memory. Inside was a vast, circular room filled with floating shards of crystal and light. The air felt warm, alive. Each shard showed faint images: cities, stars, people. A figure appeared before them, made of pure light. It was tall, with a calm, graceful shape, almost human. The same voice as before spoke through it. "Welcome back, Commander Voss." Ilara hesitated. "You remember me?" "I remember everything that touches my memory," the figure said. "You woke me. Now others are listening." "Others?" Kane asked. The figure turned, and suddenly dozens of lights flared around the room, each forming shapes like itself. Voices murmured, whispering in harmony. "We are the echo," they said together. "The minds of those who once were." Ilara took a slow breath. "You're all memories." "Yes, our civilization perished, but we stored our thoughts in the network beneath this world, waiting for those curious enough to find us." "Why us?" Kane asked. "Why humans?" The first figure stepped closer. Its glowing eyes seemed to study them. "Because your kind stands at the same edge we once did. You reach outward seeking the stars, but you bring your wars and pride with you. You call it progress. We called it destiny. It destroyed us." Ilara frowned. "So you're warning us?" "Yes," said the voice. "But not only that. We wish to give you what we could not control, knowledge." Kane's eyes widened. "Knowledge of your technology, your energy systems." The figure interrupted gently. "Knowledge is not power. It is weight. Those who carry it must choose where to step." The chamber grew brighter. The floating shards aligned, forming a great sphere of light above them. Images flickered inside it. Human ships, colonies, Earth itself. You are being watched, the figure said softly, by those who believe curiosity makes you dangerous, and by those who believe it makes you divine. Ilara's heart pounded. Who are they? The figure's voice deepened. You will see soon enough. The sphere's light exploded outward, flooding the room in brilliance. For a moment, Ilara saw visions, fleets of alien ships, human explorers on distant worlds, a storm of stars collapsing into darkness. Then everything faded. The chamber fell silent again. Kane fell to his knees, breathing hard. What was that? Possibilities, said the voice. Paths your species might walk. Some lead to wonder, some to ashes. Ilara steadied herself. You said we still have a choice. What kind of choice? The figure's eyes glowed brighter. To remember what drives you in curiosity or control. You humans are both creators and destroyers. We were the same. The difference will be in which voice you follow. Before Ilara could speak again, the ground trembled. The air rippled with static energy. Kane's scanner beeped wildly. Commander, there's another signal incoming. Not from this planet. From orbit. Ilara's comm crackled. Horizon Dawn to Commander Voss. Multiple unidentified ships just appeared, closing fast. The Echo's voice softened. They have come for the memory. They do not understand. They only take. Ilara turned toward the exit. We have to go, now. The glowing figure raised a hand. Take this, it said. From its chest, a small crystal emerged, pulsing with blue light. A key to what you have seen. Use it when your world forgets why it looks to the stars. Ilara took the crystal carefully. It was warm, alive somehow. Kane whispered. Commander, what if this is what they're after? Ilara's jaw tightened. Then we make sure it doesn't fall into their hands. They ran back through the tunnel, the glowing door reforming behind them. As they reached the shuttle, the sky above shimmered with fire. Ships descending through the clouds. Launch us, Ilara ordered. The shuttle lifted off, engines screaming through the thick air. Explosions echoed in the distance as debris fell from orbit. On the Horizon Dawn, alarms blared. Commander, enemy craft approaching, unknown design. Ilara and Kane strapped in as the shuttle connected to the docking bay. The moment the doors sealed, Ilara handed the crystal to Sarah. Protect this, she said. No scans, no signals. Just hide it. Sarah looked confused. What is it? Ilara met her eyes. A warning. And maybe a hope. The signal of war. Minutes later, the ship shook violently. 3 dark vessels appeared on the main screen. Sharp, angular, nothing like any known species ships. They're locking onto us, the tactical officer shouted. Ilara's voice was calm but firm. Raise shields. Plot a course out of orbit. Kane leaned toward her. Commander, if those things are after the Echo's data... I know, she said. We'll lead them away. The enemy ships fired, streaks of blue light slamming into their shields. The Horizon Dawn trembled but held. Sarah shouted, Commander! The artifact in the lab is reactivating. It's responding to the attack. Ilara's eyes widened. Patch the feed here. On the screen, the black sphere glowed brighter than ever, releasing waves of energy that wrapped around the ship like a shield of light. Kane whispered. It's protecting us. The Echo's voice filled the comms again, soft and distant. Remember, Commander, curiosity is not your enemy. Fear is. The enemy ships were forced back by the energy field. Their weapons sputtered and died. Then one by one they vanished into the void, leaving behind only silence. The crew stared in disbelief. Ilara sat down slowly, breathing hard. Dr. Kane. He looked at her, equally shaken. Yes, Commander? She glanced at the glowing crystal in Sarah's hands. We just got humanity's first warning, and maybe its first gift. Outside, the ruined planet below glowed faintly again, as if it too had been waiting for someone curious enough to listen. The Horizon Dawn drifted through the quiet dark, far from the ruined planet. For 3 days, Commander Ilara Voss and her crew stayed on alert, scanning the stars for any trace of the mysterious attackers. None returned. But the memory of the Echo, and the glowing crystal resting in Ilara's quarters, never left her mind. It pulsed faintly, almost like a heartbeat. Whenever she touched it, she heard whispers, soft voices like 1,000 minds thinking at once. They spoke of creation, of discovery, of loss. They spoke of curiosity. Dr. Kane visited her every morning, tired but excited. Commander, I've run every safe scan I can think of. This crystal isn't just data, it's alive. It's adapting to us. Ilara leaned back in her chair. Alive? Yes, it's reacting to human brainwaves. Almost like it's learning who we are. She looked at him silently. And what happens when it finishes learning? Kane hesitated. That's the part I can't answer. The Council's demand 2 days later, Earth's Colonial Science Council finally made contact. Their holographic faces appeared above the command table. 11 leaders of humanity's greatest colonies, each one powerful, cautious, and deeply afraid of the unknown. Commander Voss, said Director Hale, the oldest among them. Your report describes an alien memory network and hostile contact. We want that artifact transferred to our research division immediately. Ilara stood straight. With respect, Director, this artifact is not just technology. It's aware. Sending it to a lab could— Commander, Hale interrupted coldly, you are not authorized to make that decision. Humanity has waited centuries for a discovery like this. Do not let emotion cloud your judgment. Dr. Kane stepped forward. Sir, if I may— you may not, Hale snapped. This conversation is between command levels only. Ilara's jaw tightened. Understood. But you should know. The artifact already protected this ship once. It responded when we were attacked. If we treat it like an object, we might lose more than we gain. Hale's eyes narrowed. You sound like you've formed a personal connection with it. Dangerous thinking, Commander. The holograms flickered as the connection ended. Ilara exhaled slowly, staring at the empty air where the Council had been. Kane looked uneasy. They'll send ships to take it, you know. I know, she said softly. That's why we can't stay here. The awakening, that night the lights flickered across the horizon dawn. Power systems surged, then stabilized. The crew rushed to stations, alarms echoing through the halls. Commander, called Lieutenant Sarah Holt over the comm. The crystal's energy output just spiked. It's connecting to the ship's systems. Ilara hurried to her quarters, Kane close behind. When they entered, the crystal hovered above its case, glowing brighter and brighter. Lines of blue light spread across the floor, tracing alien symbols on the metal. Then the voice returned. Soft, calm, familiar. Commander Voss. Ilara swallowed. You're back. I never left, said the echo. You carried me with you. You carry my people's memory. Kane stepped forward, awed. We thought you were gone when we left the planet. I am not bound to one world, the echo replied. We are fragments spread through the stars, but now, I am awake again because you listened. Ilara nodded slowly. You said others would come. Are they still watching? Yes, the echo said. They fear you as we once feared ourselves. The lights around them dimmed. The crystal projected an image into the air, a map of nearby systems. At the edge glowed 3 red symbols, the enemy ships they had fought before. They follow paths of silence, said the echo. Hunters of knowledge. They destroy what they do not understand, Ilara frowned. And they're coming for us again. The echo paused. Unless you make a choice. The choice, what choice? Ilara asked. To hide, said the echo, or to speak. She tilted her head. Explain. You can hide what you found, keep humanity safe but silent. Or you can share what you learned, awaken curiosity across your kind and risk the same path we walked. Kane shook his head. That's suicide. The Council barely trusts us already. Ilara stared at the projection, the glowing stars, the dark symbols of approaching ships. She thought about her crew, her home, and the words she'd heard the first night the echo spoke. Stop pretending you're not curious. She finally said, What happens if we hide? The echo's voice softened. You will live, for a while, until fear finds another reason to silence you. And if we share, then you will light the dark again. And maybe, you will not repeat our mistakes. Ilara looked at Kane. We always said exploration was our purpose, but maybe it was our test, he sighed. Commander, if we do this, we'll be hunted. Not just by them, but by our own. Ilara nodded. Then let them hunt. I'd rather die curious than live blind. The next hours passed in quiet determination. The crew gathered in the main communications deck as Ilara explained her plan. We're going to send the echo's message to every human colony, she said. Not as a weapon. As a warning and a promise, Sarah frowned. But the Council will block it. Not if we use the echo, Ilara said. She can transmit through every frequency at once. The glowing crystal pulsed in agreement. I will share what you have seen. The rise and fall of my world. The cost of forgetting why we explore, Kane whispered. You're trusting humanity with the same knowledge that destroyed yours. The echo's voice was calm. Perhaps your kind will remember the difference between curiosity and greed. The lights dimmed and the hum of power filled the ship. The communication array began to glow. Transmission ready, Sarah said softly. Alara placed her hand on the crystal. It was warm, almost like a heartbeat beneath her palm. Let's show them what curiosity really means. The moment she gave the order, a burst of light filled the bridge. The message spread across every channel, words, images, and memories carried through space faster than any signal before. Planets thousands of light years away received it at once. Visions of the lost world, the fall of the Echo's people, and the voice of the commander saying, Curiosity is not our enemy. It is our reason to exist. The reaction back on Earth and its colonies, chaos followed. Governments tried to jam the signal, but it spread faster than they could stop it. Children saw the lights in the sky. Scientists wept at the knowledge now shared freely, and in secret, soldiers were sent to hunt the horizon dawn. But by the time they reached the coordinates, the ship was gone. The final voyage far from known space, the horizon dawn drifted near a dying star. The ship's systems were stable, but the crew knew they could never return home. Kane joined Alara at the viewing deck. Outside, the star pulsed faintly like the crystal itself. They'll call us traitors, he said. Or heroes. Maybe both. Alara smiled slightly. That's how you know we did something that mattered. The Echo's voice filled the room again, gentle and proud. You have done what we could not. You shared knowledge without chains. Alara looked out into the endless stars. We're still afraid, you know. Still flawed. Fear is not the end, said the Echo. It is the beginning of courage. For a long moment, there was silence, only the soft hum of the ship and the glow of the dying star. Then the crystal brightened one last time. I have given you all I am, said the Echo. But one day others will hear your voice as you heard mine. When they do, remind them. Alara nodded slowly. Remind them of what? The Echo's voice was almost a whisper now. To stop pretending they're not curious. The crystal dimmed, its light fading until it became just a soft glow, like a sleeping ember. Alara turned to Kane and smiled faintly. Let's keep going. He raised an eyebrow. Where to? She looked at the stars stretching forever ahead. Anywhere curiosity leads. The horizon dawn turned slowly, engines igniting with golden light, and vanished into the endless dark, not running, but reaching. And somewhere deep in the silent cosmos, 1,000 dormant echoes stirred awake once more, whispering through time.